David, your thought on the once you get the job, that's when you really, really need to leave behind, because you got to carry it with you to all the employees you meet and everything else. And, otherwise the phone game happens. So you're very astute on that. If you want to keep the client and get a lot more business, even changing the leave behind a month and a half after you're in there, when you learn their true issues and making it about their true issues, then man, you can really expand.
Yeah, and on that too, strategic. Yeah, so absolutely, and when we're working with, lower middle market, smaller companies, we're always trying to get in front of literally everybody anyway, engage the entire, employee base to the greatest extent possible, from the outset and all the way through. But let me flip this for a moment. Selfishly, for us as consultants, sometimes, would you call them turds?
Oh, turd throwers.
You got to come up, with some other term, but. For me, those people, on the flip side, sometimes are us, right? Different of the advisors, consultants, whatever. Maybe we're working with the attorney, the CPA, or the marketing person, or whoever it is, right? And if we're not really truly of the collective mindset, we're shooting ourselves in the foot, right? Because somebody either is going to screw up in front of the client and it reflects back on us. The project's not going to turn out well. The results are not going to be there. So the caution, obviously, in selecting somebody is just, obviously overwhelming as who's going to be on your team. But on the flip side, if we're all working well and communicating well, then we're all in the company at different ways and different times, and we're all bringing in and listening and hearing good, bad, and ugly, and coming back and coordinating to better improve, to improve the process, to improve the project, to improve the advisory team and the experience for the client and for us. So, yeah.
Yeah, Mark, this is Daryl. This is just really outstanding. I was going through the personal experiences where I was in the change management practice of Accenture and Deloitte, and I felt like most of the time we were painting by the numbers because we weren't really designing the customer experience first and getting people to understand the day after and the day before. So as I've gone in with change initiatives with companies, I'm trying to get them to understand the day after. What does the day in the life look like now, and what does the day in the life look like now, not only from the customer experience, but how does that transform the company from silos to something that's more horizontalized, if that's a word. And boy, you nailed it here. And it's getting them, the thing that's the real takeaway for me here, which is so really good, is that you leave them the thought process of how they think out of the box of redesigning their company from the customer experience first. And that is so hard to do in siloed organizations. And I think what you have here is just incredibly powerful. I just want to applaud, because I've been on the other side where I was doing that battle without this mindset change with them. And you could imagine how the change management experience from a consultant point of view went. It was like, you remember the guy that's pushing the ball uphill and that ball keeps falling down? What was his name? Yeah. Whatever it was. I sometimes felt like that guy, but at the same time, they were paying us these incredible fees to help them work through this. Whereas if, we could have more efficiently shown them, look, design it from the customer experience first. Wow, that would have been, gosh, it would have sped up the transformation process so much. So I just want to applaud you. This is just nailing it on top of you hit the hammer on top of the nail as good as you could hit it. Just really great stuff. I want to thank you.
Daryl, we've had similar experiences, because that's what created all this, because there was really no verbiage, no words to describe them. Right. I liked your word horizontalized. I mean, that's really what it is. And but there is no words, and so you got to throw pictures. That's why there's a lot of pictures out there, and it really is. With David, the word turd thrower I struggled with a lot, and the reality was, it's just picture me at a meeting at a customer, and there's 20 people around the table, and we're doing this, and I would put my left hand on the table and swipe it to the side of the table like I was knocking a turd on the floor. And everybody around the meetings know this, that okay, that's and that's in response.
Hey, Mark, real quickly, I would ask the question, you'll love this. I said, are you a deflector? I didn't use the word turd thrower, but I said, are you a deflector, and why? Right?
Well, Daryl, that's really astute, because the title of the book is Deflect, the subtitle is Deflect Turd Throwers. And that was a shield that you saw that the types of turd floors are on. So I use a shield, and on the back side of the shield is a heart of love, so this is spiritual. I didn't want to attack anybody and hurt them. I just wanted to use my shield to deflect them and knock the "you can't do that" on the floor. And if you do that 2 or 3 times, you say, look, this shit's piling up on the floor. Can you stop it now or just leave the room?
So I've been carrying a tool around with me for 25 years. I think Jeff has seen it. So as you're talking about turd throwing, I just pulled this out of my bag, and it is this.
Yeah, no bullshit. See, you're doing this.
It is. This came from those of you who fondly or unfondly remember the TQM days 25, 30 years ago. But in any kind of meeting environment like that, if somebody was just being, a turd or any variation, this sat in the middle of the table. You grabbed it and you just threw it at them, as opposed to.
Right.
The same thing, David. Yeah, I wrote a book about it though, so it doesn't happen. Yeah.
Hey, in that quality management life, real quickly, David and Mark, I used to put the person that was as you say, turd thrower, I would call them the deflector. I'd actually put them on the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Daryl.
We'd have a parking lot. So I'd write their name on the parking lot, and they would go, "Oh," and so we would have to come back and address that person's change of mindset or behavior, and that was pretty effective. But we're talking the same language here. I wish that I had this mindset years and years ago, Mark, of what you've got here, because this is powerful stuff.
And let's not remember, let's remember, guys, we're all making jokes and funny and making fun of our clients. Let's make sure we're not, in our collaboration, the turd throwers. The collaboration piece of this, we're all pretty old on here, which means we've got decades of experience. We know how to do a lot of things to differing degrees. Sometimes we need to, I'm saying this to myself too, a constant reminder.
I'd always do it with a sense of humor.
And you really find out if you start using the word "you are" a lot. You realize you shifted over, instead of saying "I am" and this is what I can do and what we can do, and you start using the word "you are." You really you crossed over, exactly. And your wife knows that too when you tell her you are this.
It's true.
Guys, one thing that came up for me through this is I was talking to a couple clients, one with SAP, one with Salesforce, and one with a company called MuleSoft. It just got purchased by Salesforce. And they were saying all their clients are asking them, how can they make their experiences digital? And so they really are working on becoming more nimble, more agile, and being able to pivot. So I think just we're talking about is having a leave behind via video, whether it's a video that you do or a video that you have done, to leave behind. That way you're still there and you're delivering the message the way you want to deliver it and not the way someone wants to interpret it or selling for you.
Absolutely, Mark. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But you mentioned the word digital, and threw out some thoughts for you to help is that, and Kevin knows this, in the marketing world, digital is really taking over marketing, and they, instead of calling it customer experience like I do, you noticed I focused on the customer experience and their activities and maybe making their activities digital. But the whole marketing field is doing something called journey mapping or digitized journey mapping. And that's an operational issue. That is not a customer experience. So, when you're talking to SAP and Salesforce, what they're doing is they're trying to automate the whole process of sending emails, responding to calls, and integrating their digital thing all into one. So the dream of a marketing expert, top of marketing, is to integrate all their digital stuff to one dashboard so they can see all the tasks that their company's doing related to delivering the journey for their customer. And Jim, this is what 3 or 4 weeks ago at the group we were talking about a task versus the experience. And you can really fall into a real trap by delivering tasks to your customer, which helps them in no way with their experience of integrating all their products and services and feelings into, a good life. So, when you're working with these people, in the back of your head, you're going to know that they're actually maybe theirs isn't worried about the customer experience. Theirs is worried about the digital connection and transactions. if that makes sense. It's not bad. I mean, it's good to deliver good operations, but that isn't in any way necessarily enhancing a customer experience, you know, so.
Yeah, you
But
know,
in your case, but Mark, in your case in digital, I mean, you could go into, you remember I used the word smartify to go across all the activities. And if, in this world right now, they're smartifying clothes where the clothes actually have sensors in them to help you with sweat, temperature, and everything else. So you could, in your high-end market, you can actually make some high-end, think of that they're a digitized clothing apparatus that puts them into this new world. I mean, it really is incredible about smart fabrics and everything else nowadays.
Yeah, what I'm doing is so what I've been doing for a long time that's completely changed the paradigm of my business is I number all my clients' clothes.
Oh.
So I put little numbers because 22% of the male population is colorblind, but everybody can see primary colors like black and white. So when I deliver a client's wardrobe, they're all numbers. So he's got number 1 in his sport coat, and then he'll have 5 shirts that have number 1s in them and 5 pants that have number 1s in them. And all they got to do is match up the numbers. So if they pull out a number 1 jacket, he looks in his closet, he has numbers on his shirts. As long as he just matches up the numbers, he looks like a rock star every day.
Sounds like our animals.
Dude, it's exactly like Granimals because that's, I was searching for something to do and I looked across that and I found about Granimals, but obviously, guys don't want to put little dinosaurs in their clothes. So I just said, you know what, let's just call it dressing by the numbers, and it's completely changed my business. And I'll have guys that'll just say, Mark, hey, I got referred to you. I heard you can number my clothes. And so that's what I do. I start putting numbers in my clients' clothes now.
Mark, you mentioned using video as a way to do the leave behind. Last year, I met a consultant from Austin. He had a great idea. He was trying to figure out a way. He was trying to close a deal with a client, and the client kept asking him follow-up questions about email, and he was typing long answers, and then he realized it was probably creating more confusion. So he just said he started creating a video response, and he would text or I guess email back that video to the customer. And immediately when he did that, he noticed he was getting a better response and the sales process moved faster. So he made that part of his standard communication. He would go present to the customer, but every follow-up question would produce a video response. And he's had great response from that. So I've been trying that myself. My results are not as strong as his. Sometimes it works well. Some people don't like that. But at any rate, it's another tool in our box that we could use.
Yeah, I think what that does, it just, again, remember the difference between loyalty and emotion. The difference between loyalty and satisfaction is emotion. And what these video calls are doing right now is they create emotion. They allow to look at your eyes. They actually look at you to see you. And so all those reasons that people trust you are reinforced again through video, rather than leave behind.
Another way to add to that is really cool is that I own an animation company. And the reason I own an animation company in Italy is because sometimes videos can become talking heads. And after a while, that's the parts and pieces approach, is that it's like sitting in a classroom watching somebody talk. That's one of the problems with YouTube. So I own an animation company and was making animations on all the activities associated with that customer experience. Mm-hmm. And so, Home Depot is one of my customers. So if you're installing a flooring from Home Depot, it's my animation. The problem with that for me as a business, I can't do it anymore because there's animators out there that do that for $50. Right. And so you as a person, it's probably easier for you to get an animation company to make you an animation on this than actually you to do the video of you. It's staggering. So if you Google animation companies and stuff, you can make an animation, 4-minute animation for $50 to $100 or something like that. And if you look at a lot of people's websites, they really do. In those days, it used to cost $5,000 for those, but now $50 to $100.
Mark, that was a terrific presentation.